Good evening. We're getting ready to record our final evening of Remember Me, and I'm going to go post over here on the webpage real quick where we are, so people can come and join us. That have the sheet music, and then we'll get started. It's if you're watching the recording, it's 7:58, so probably be about you can probably fast forward easy. You fast forward about 3 minutes, and then that will be where we actually start working on the song. And of course, if you're catching us live, let me know if the sound is good. And I will get all this posted up on the website, denverguitarorchestra.com. And, okay, so that should let us in there. Open like a new page, view window, go here. Oops, I gotta edit this page. And this is the home page, so I should be able to scroll down and click on our link, and that should help me know if everybody is coming in. That'll take you to the right final night. Yay! Okay, so that works. It's supposed to be in green. Post today's link from earlier. That's orange. I'm very sophisticated with my color choices here, so just know Denver Guitar Orchestra, I picked the colors. And I am very passionate about having them all match. All right, so this is the lesson archive. That's fine. Get rid of that. Let's go down where the evening classes, those are supposed to be in green. Clink. Update. All right, now that's it. Elizabeth is in. Sound is good. Came in on YouTube as a subscriber. Yay. So, yes, those of you who are watching either just casual observers or if you are in the orchestra and you always go through the front page of the website, just know by subscribing here, you can skip over that one step and you just log in directly from YouTube. Because I think what happens is as soon as I go live, there's a little sign that says, hey, Gary's live. And then you just click on that and then you're in. So I think that's how you do it, right, Elizabeth? Let's see what's going on guitar-wise in Denver these days. So tonight is our final night of working on Remember Me. We'll do one more round of it tomorrow morning. Well, tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 is our class. So we'll do one more round of it tomorrow afternoon, and then we will put it on the shelf as the Pinky Killer. It's a fun song, but boy, there's a couple of moments that just require you to be on your game. And I have, it says live now. Okay. And this is a great tune, but boy, there are just a few places in it that even after playing it for several weeks, I'm still fighting it pretty good. And so this one, that one's a tough one. And then of course this guy. So I have until tomorrow at 2:30 to get this thing finished up. Hopefully you're finding some way to play it where it makes sense for you. And hopefully those areas that are just eating your lunch, you can just play through the melody, right? Just play the melody, play that with purpose and excitement, and that's fine, right? You're not required to play this in any particular way. It's an orchestra song, and we're forcing it onto a solo guitar, by people who don't have guitar degrees. And so, yeah, if you were a college graduate in classical guitar, this stuff probably wouldn't be quite so tragic, but you wouldn't be playing it anyway because you would think it's below you and you're busy playing fancy classical stuff. So we're probably playing this as best as it will ever be played, depending on, however you're playing it. And of course, if you come back at it next year, might be playing it a little better. Let's see. Vic says, welcome in, Vic, by the way. It says, Remember Me is a beautiful song that I will enjoy for a long time. Thanks for the Oh, well, thank you. That's very kind. I think it's a beautiful tune. And I do think, I got sirens going by, so you may be hearing uh, the world coming apart here through the microphone. Um, or you might not. They're supposed to only be this way. Sirens are over there. The nice part about it is we've talked about this quite a bit. This is definitely a guitar movie. It's about a guitarist who's dead, and people had the misunderstanding about this poor guitarist. And so I love the fact that this is really a song that is one of these things you can work on for a while and just own the darn thing. But it's not gonna come easily for you, probably. And that's good. It gives us something to work on. I'm gonna get tuned up here, and then we're gonna get started. My guitar is loosened up since the afternoon. It was real tight, even though our temperature here in town was super hot today. I was having a terrible time getting any decent tone out of it this afternoon. All right, I use a electric flip-em-a-bob thing for my sheet music, which I think is definitely a mixed blessing and not something I would necessarily recommend. But hopefully you have your pages laid out face to face, and there's only 2 pages, right? And so getting it right is what we're at. You know, it's not about the paper; it's about getting it out of the guitar. Let's see. I do have to take shortcuts. I have to take shortcuts, right? I write the stuff so that theoretically I can play it, and there's no shortcuts. I don't think I think sometimes we feel a little guilty about taking them as musicians because we want to play everything completely and perfectly as written. But I don't think that's I don't think that that's a smart way to become a musician. I think as musicians, outside of academia, our job is to make the most beautiful version of whatever it is we're working on. And I don't think that getting it exactly right is always the best policy. I think, if you're an academic music, of course, you have to do it exactly what it says. But when you're a community musician and there's a part that you just can't play right now, it's just too hard for you, obviously simplify and play the part that you can, because we don't want that one little part to prevent you from playing the whole song. So shortcuts, that might be the right word for it. It's a little bit of a shortcut. It's not a cheat, right? That's the word I always use. I'm going to cheat. I think we'll just go through this way to get to where we're going, and it'll be fine. You'll still end up where you're going. Let's see. Hey, Bill, welcome in. Pele, where have you been? Goodness sakes, I worry about you when I don't see you often. All right, guys, there's probably everybody that's logged in is going to log in, and so we're going to play this. Tonight will be the last night class of this, and then tomorrow will be the last daytime class of this. Next week, by the way, I do have a board meeting here for the condominium, so we will not have a Thursday night meeting next week. And then I am getting ready to teach some classes out in Lakewood. If they make, I will have to adjust the schedule for what we do here at night. And so I will be communicating with you via email. In any event, we may have several weeks where we're not meeting in the evenings. And then I'll let you know. It is going to be based entirely on how many classes make out in Lakewood. And they're going to have us meet face to face, or going to try it, I guess, until I figure out that it's not going to work. But they've been pretty active about trying to find a way to make these things work. And so we'll see. But in any event, next Thursday, there's not going to be a meeting. And next Monday, I will send out a new notice about whatever the new level 4 song is. I have several things I've been fussing with. None of them are coming together yet, but I will have something for us on Monday for level 4. So what I would suggest, and if I could give any piece of advice that I don't follow, stick with this. Just stick with it. Just hang on to it. Work on every day. Say every day I'm playing that darn song, and just stick with it for a while. Or Hotel California, stick with it. Or what did we play before that? We played whatever it was before that. Find a song, whether you love it or hate it, doesn't matter. Oh, it was Christie's piece. Not remember me. Lean on me. Find the song that's going okay for you, and even though I send out a new song, don't let this one go away, right? We have a guy in our orchestra, Dan, who has stuck with about 3 pieces literally for a year, and he's gotten so good at those pieces. You just want to sit and just watch, because he's so good. So that would be my suggestion, is even though I'm going to get you something new on Monday, don't use that as an excuse not to keep going on this. Just use this as you now know how to play it, right? And so or play it at your level, and then just keep at it, because then eventually you have the darn thing memorized, and then you have a piece that you could take with you anywhere. So all right, that's my pep talk. Let's play the song. Okay. We don't play this on chords because I have no chance of singing it. So let's just play the melody, make sure we know how the song goes, and then we'll go through and deal with the tough acts. Okay. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. For a minute and then go. Back to the top. Page 2. That's good, right? That's good. That's a good melody. And when you read the words, you're like, oh, I really like this song. Most of the time when I read the words, I'm like, this song is stupid, right? I thought Lean on Me was that song. It's a beautiful tune, really not going nice until it gets to the part in the song where it's like, and if you need to borrow any sugar, just be sure to ask. And you're like, what? It seems a little weird. That's not really what I need to lean on you for. I need to lean on you for when my soul is being crushed by society, right? That's when I need to lean on you. Let's play the melody one more time. Remember, if you have somebody else who knows any other type of instrument, a piano, ukulele, accordion, whatever, any other instrument that can play chords, just have them play these chords. They'll need the sheet music with you because this song is very much subject to discretion as to how long you want to hold the notes. Sometimes you want to rush it a little bit. Sometimes you want to make some of the notes go out. Depends on how your guitar is responding, right? So getting somebody who has strict time may not be the best choice of duet partners for this song, but somebody who can hear what you're doing, pay attention to you, and know, hey, I'm going to put in the G chord here, and then a G chord here, and then a C minor chord here, and then another G chord, and then I toss in an F chord and a B7. So talk to somebody you know who is also a musician and say, hey, let's get together. I really want to play this. You play the melody and they play the chords. And the chords on this are not fun, and as you know. And so, in fact, Arlo is in her. Sorry, I'm about to die here. Hold on. Arlo was in earlier, and Arlo is one of our great chord players. Like, that guy is lights out. I mean, he just knows what he's doing. And even he was grumbling a little bit about these chords in this piece. They're just, they're meant for a big orchestra, and we have had to scrunch them down to fit on a guitar. And so they're chords that are correct, and they sound beautiful, but boy, they're not meant for us as solo guitar players. And I do think find somebody who can get it kind of close. E flat augmented, I don't know what that is. I'll play an E flat. That's close enough, right? D suspended fourth. I don't know what that is, but I know what a D chord is, and then they would do that job, and you just you just play the melody, and it'll come out great. So that would be something to think about if you have a friend. Okay, you're a guitar player, so the chances of you having friends who are going to participate with you is questionable. All right, let's go on. Let's play the melody one more time. Straight through, the whole thing through. I got where felt like I sped up through the whole thing, and I probably did because that's what I do. Let's try. I'm going to try to keep it a little bit slower. I want you to be trying to either play the chords with me, play the melody with me, and if you're all that, play that tough axe with me. And let's just see if we can't get a good relationship going here. You're hearing me and you're hearing you, right? So you have to be the judge of how you're doing. I can't hear what you're doing, unfortunately. So I'm going to try as best I can to kind of keep the motion of the music going in a predictable fashion, and then you'll fill in the rest. Okay. So from the top, just a melody for me. You decide how you want to play it. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the top. Bridge 2. Second ending. Yay. Okay. I played it pretty well. Every now and then you get them, right? Every now and then. All right. So that's the melody. That's a good melody. That's a good song. Okay. So those of you guys that are looking for songs that like from your childhood or from when you were your first love or whatever, and you're looking for that song, you're looking for something to put on guitar. If you're not a singer, you got to have something that has a good melody to it, and it's actually fairly easy to find. If you go looking for an old song that you liked back in the day, if it's still kind of a popular song, it's got a great melody, almost for sure. If it's a song that people have kind of forgotten about, it's because it didn't have a great melody. You will find songs that you think, wow, I was a really awesome group. I love that group back in the day. And you go listen to the songs, and they're sort of not really, they're just sort of got this flat feeling to them. They didn't put enough time and energy into making great melodies, and so the song kind of falls away. Elton John is a perfect example of a guy who did the opposite of that. Every melody, he's a piano player, he really works on great melodies, and those are the kinds of songs you want to get to put on guitar. Once you find that, then you go through and you learn how to finger pick the melody and just find out, hey, am I moving all over the place? Am I way down here and then I'm way up here and I'm using all these different strings? If you're busy playing that particular melody on your guitar, then you've got a good song. You have a song that's going to make some sense for you. Once you find that song, then either you can go through the process that I go through all the time, which is, all right, that's the melody. Here are the chords. How do we make those things work together on the guitar? The melody's way down here, but I have a G chord. What am I going to do? Because the G's way down here, and I can't reach way down here to get the melody. I got to find a G chord further up here. That process is a slow process. It's not going to happen overnight, and you certainly don't want to start on a super complex song to create that song. You want to start on easier ones. Mary Had a Little Lamb is not a bad place to start, but be able to pick out the melody and then start thinking about what chords wrap around that melody. Either if I'm here, what does that chord look like? If I'm down here, what does the chord look like? If I'm down here, what's the chord going to look like? And then start figuring out what you have the ability to play. You guys get paperwork from me that I think is quite playable, and I am sometimes wrong about that. But what I really would look at is, hey, I want you to have a song that sounds great, that the chords make sense, that if we have to move stuff around in the song just a little bit to get everything lined up neat and pretty, we'll do it. Okay. We don't feel like we're beholden to the original composer to do exactly what they thought you should do. We're trying to get you a piece that sounds great on your guitar. And so when you find that tune, let me know and see if I can help you kind of guide you as to how to create a guitar arrangement for yourself. I'm always happy to write them out, but as you know, I'm always a million weeks behind, just with an overrun of things I need to write for different musicians. And so I can't always do it for you, but I want you to begin to think about, hey, you could do this. Okay. There's nothing magic about what I do. It's taking the melody, taking the chords, and then figuring out a way that I can squish them together where they sound nice. To wit, it is time to dig into Tough Axe. And as you guys know, Tough Axe is my cutesy version of chord melody or fingerstyle. And fingerstyle is a phrase that's going around in YouTube right now that seems to be guitarists, unfortunately, are wanting it to be very specifically defined. And it's not a term that's very specifically defined, but generally speaking, when you're playing fingerstyle, you are for sure combining chords and melody, and you're probably adding in a ton of decorative notes and possibly a little bit of percussion in there. there's sort of a group out there on YouTube right now that's just overdoing this exact process where everything ends up sounding the same. Chunk, 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 chunk. Sounds cool once or twice. After the 30th song you've heard, I mean, it's that style, you're like, that seems a little, right? And so I don't go to all that extent. If I had a song that I thought really that made all that percussive stuff and all of these 8 million extra notes, if I thought I had a song that would work with that, I'd do it. I think Can't Help Falling in Love with You by Elvis is that song, right? It's absolutely designed for fingerstyle play without the percussion in it. This song, I like having a lot of space in between the notes and a lot of space in the chording. I like not rushing it. And I don't think, I mean, it's a song that's possibly a funeral song, right? It's certainly a sad song in many ways, and yet there's a real optimism to it. And so I don't think there's any rush to play this thing at a high rate of speed with 80 million extra notes added in. I think trying to keep it clean, keep it nice. You're going to have your work cut out with you on those 4 or 5 chords in here that are really a bummer. The chords at measure 5 and measure 9 really are very, very challenging. And so you're going to have your hands full. So, try to be kind on yourself and give yourself lots of space and time to make this thing go as smoothly and as pretty as you can. That's what I've been trying to do, and I think it's working. Bill says a couple of renditions on the Coco soundtrack are very simple. Yeah. When I was putting this together, boy, I was fighting it quite a bit. And so I listened to a lot of different versions of Coco. And of course, because it's in a movie, it's not necessarily always set up for solo play, right? And so, there's one where they're having a duet where one person's singing and the other person's singing back and so on. And I would say, follow Coco's version, right? I mean, if just playing the straight unadorned melody is all you want to do today, then that's fine. I mean, I did that in Coco and they did okay with that, right? Disney thought, yeah, that's a good movie. Let's go with that. And that was just, plain old straight unadorned melody. And that's not cheating. It's taking a shortcut is what Vic would call it, right? I think that's why I'm always such a psycho about learning to play melody. You don't have to sing. Guitars sound wonderful no matter how you play them. And that melody just comes out just beautiful and lush and pretty and no reason not to take advantage of that. On the other hand, we're us, right? And what we want to do is add in extra stuff and make it as complex and as beautiful as we can without reaching the point where we can no longer play it. So let's walk through, as we do every week, we'll walk through everything on here, how I'm thinking about it, what I'm learning about the piece, and then we'll go through and we'll play it a couple of times, okay? So what I've learned in the beginning here is I want to have, I've got this 5 marked as an index finger. And then I'm putting my 7 on here. And then I'm just hitting a couple of the zeros there. I'm trying not to go down and hit that first string, even though the sheet music says I should. I'm not going to. I'm just adding in a couple of zeros there to keep the beat going. And then I'm dropping my pinky down to the 3 in that first measure. And while I'm adding that on, I'm trying to add my ring finger on here because that's the next melody note that's coming up, and adding then my full chord, okay? And so then I've got that G chord on. And then I'm again adding in a couple of these low strings just to keep that pacing going. I've already got my 3 down to play the next note. And now this is my favorite part of the song. These 101. It's not hard to do, right? It's just your A7, but you moved it back to the first fret. And I'm going to play those 3 notes, and then put my pinky here. And then I've been pushing my pinky up to 5. And when I push that there, I know I've got to get my index finger here and these 2 fingers here. Okay, so I've got it's basically A minor shape on 4 with my pinky, okay? And that's gorgeous, right? And then I slide my pinky up to get the 7s. Any finger to get the 5, and then I'm going right back to that G chord there at measure 4. And then again, just hit a couple of extra notes there in the middle of measure 4, so it's not just big long nothing, right? And then you you've got an actual rest, and then I am putting my pinky on 7, which theoretically gives me time to put a bar on 5 and a C shape in front of it and slide my 7 up to 8. That's what's supposed to happen. And that's what I'm looking for right there. Now, because of this song, my pinky is getting overused. And I'm finding that it's sticking real bad these days. So sometimes I'm hitting it okay, and sometimes I'm not. I'm not worried about that. That's what I want to get. But if I don't get it, I don't get it, right? Plonk, and I move on. Okay. If that's too much, right? All that really matters is that 8. Okay. And then you could probably stick in the 4s there. But if this is way too much. Just try to get the 8 clean, and then don't worry about the rest of that big old ugly chord there. Okay, so we're at the beginning of measure 5. I've been sliding the pinky back, 7, 7, and then I've been using my middle finger for the 5 and adding the 4s. Okay, and then I'm going to go all the way down to here with my pinky. I don't know if this is necessary. I've been using my pinky because you got to get your E minor on here next at measure 6, right? So you get your E minor on, you got your pinky there. I've been using my pinky. I don't know if you have to. I think you can use your ring finger there. Either way, it's going to work. This feels like a bigger stretch to me than this. And then I've been just racing my pinky up here. Sooner or later, I'm going to cut it open, but that's what I've been doing to get the 12-12. Middle finger to get the 2 10s. Index finger to get the 2 7. And then I've been sliding my index finger down to get the 3 on the bottom. And then picking it up and coming up to get that group of 10s there at measure 7. And I want to get that as clean and aggressive as I can. And then I'm going to pull it down. 8, 8, 7, 5. So that little section there, getting the 10s. That's how I've been playing. I've been just doing it all the way down. I'm trying to minimize how much of that I'm doing, that sound. I'm trying to minimize that, but I'm not losing sleep over it if I make that sound. Okay. That's a pretty little measure there, right? And then I'm going to go grab this 3 with my pinky. I have to use my pinky here because these 3 guys are in the process of getting a C chord on, so I don't have any other choice but to use my pinky there. Now I get my C chord on at measure 8. Give that a nice strum. And leave that as long as you possibly can before you jump up to grab those 2 10s and the 8 that come after it. Okay, so when you grab that C chord, let it, as much as possible, develop. The problem is you're going to be of 5 strings. You're pulling off 3 to go get this 10, and there's no getting around it, right? You have to do that. Let it develop, and then go get your 10, 10, 8. I'd recommend that 8 you mark as you being a pinky because you're going to need to put your bar on 5 here to get the next chord there in the middle of measure 8. So we use a bar in 5. Okay, that sounds nice. Change to ring. Index finger on the 3. And then you've got that super hard chord. I don't see any other way to make this go rationally. Okay, so I've got to hit that 3, and then I've got to put my bar on, middle on, and pinky on to get 4, 4, 5, and 7, or 5, 4, 4, 7. Okay, and if it takes a little while to get that shape on, just let it take a little while to get that shape on, and then play it slow and beautiful glissando, like you meant it to slow down there, right? I sing a secret song to you each night. We are apart. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Even though it's taking me maybe a little too long to get that bar on 4, middle, and pinky, I'm just trying to give it a little bit of extra love so that, oh yeah, I meant to slow it down there. Being dramatic, change your 5s. go grab the one. While you're playing that one, your pinky's got to get on here. These two guys have to go up on 4 and 5, and then your index finger's got to switch over to the second string there. So it's a lot. 5, 4. Okay, so these are both on 5th fret, strings 5 and 4. Index finger's going to go back here. Second strings, 3rd fret, and then your pinky's on the top string on the 5th fret. That's that crazy mess there at the end of measure 9. It eats me up every time, and so every time I come through, my goal is this the time, right? That's what I want, and I'm even slowing it down that strum just like that. Let it develop fully. That's a big orchestra moment. There's probably 5 instruments contributing to this one sound, and I have one guitar to fit that. And it's hard to do without muting the strings. It is hard to do without muting the strings. And guys, know also your body architecture plays a role in that, right? If you've got big hands or really thick fingers or a little bit thinner fretboard, I had this guitar built for me with a little bit wider fretboard, a little shorter scale length, because it fits me better. But you don't necessarily have the money or the time or the interest in having a custom guitar built. So you've got to use what's in your lap, and then you've got to make your fingers do that. And when you end up with a chord like that, my goodness, it is right. It is beautiful, but you've got to be very conscious that, hey, I'm going to have to make sure my fingers are coming in very vertical toward this. And it's real easy to accidentally lay these guys down, even if your thumb's in proper position. That's a bit of a stretch. So as much as possible, I am probably standing almost straight up on my index finger to allow these guys enough room to reach forward, and then my pinky to get there as well. Okay, and let that, if you get, no matter how well that goes, even if it's that, let it develop, let it ring out while you are going on to page 2 and resetting your noggin, because now you're going to play the song new and fresh. So that's how I ended at page 1, whatever it was. Now let's go on to page 2. Okay. Now, I have been taking a ton of liberties with 5-7-3. You'll notice in measure 1 that 7 is 3.5 beats long. So you're supposed to play. Right, so you're really supposed to let that 7 go. On page 2, they're all 8th notes. Dun 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 dun. And I don't know. I'm not taking that too seriously, right? I'm probably going to play it faster because I put all of the drama into measure 1, so I don't need to re-put more drama into measure 2. I just want, right, and I'll probably speed it up just a little bit, okay? That's probably what's happening too. Also, as I get toward this middle of page 2, all of a sudden now I'm going too fast because I sped measure 9 up or measure 10 up. All right, so for measure 10, just don't be quite as dramatic as measure 1. Okay, and you're going to be doing that G chord again. I don't have any notes there, but so you probably do want to have your pinky still on that 3. I'm going to, in fact, write myself a note there to make sure to get my pinky there on that 3, so that it's my ring finger is available for the G that comes up next. Then I'm going to hit a 3 again. And here's my favorite part. Okay, now I have marked as a ring here. You can see why. If I put my ring here, I can do 7-7. Add the 8, take it right back off, and get that 7 there. So I've got a ring mark for 7 there. Even though right before that, I've got to do this whole big chord. It's supposed to be an 8th note. Oops, I'm wrong chord. But it's probably not going to be an 8th note. It's probably going to be a little bit more than that. Right? So it's probably going to be, if I'm coming in, if I do it exactly as an eighth note, I'm going to kind of short this. I'm going to have to yank all of those strings up to go onto the next thing. So I'm going to give that a little extra love. I don't want to be ridiculous about it, but I do want that 5 4 5 5 or 5 5 4 5. Read from the bottom to the top. 5 5 4 5. I want that to have a little bit of extra time to do what it needs to do before I go grab them with my ring finger. 7 7 8, and then there. Again, those 0 0 zeros are just to fill in a little bit of space and get a nice pacing in there. Okay, now I'm still on 7, so I can just play. When you get that 8 there, this is when you put your A minor shape on here on 6. Okay, so 6, and then these two guys up here. And really, I want that 8 note, that note on 8 there, it's a C, to really have it stay. So when I get this A minor shape on 6 with my pinky on 8, so that's another place where I'll give that chance a little bit longer than an eighth note to develop and become something before I move on to 7 7 8 10, and that's a nice moment there too. Very easy to play, right? Okay. You've got the high moment in the song. Now we're going to drop back down and go grab your C chord. I've just been grabbing 3 2 and leaving everything else open. I'm going to grab those 3s with my pinky, and then I absolutely have my ring finger marked here at this 2. The reason why you need to grab that 2 with a ring finger is you need to have these 2 fingers free to put that partial C chord on here. Okay. Then you lift up that ring finger. And you can put your 3 or your ring finger down here. It's not going to matter because it's only for one note to get that 3. Then you've got to go move your A minor shape up onto this 3rd fret here. And again, you're only one note. Then you drop out the 0. And I've been pulling my whole chord off because I got to get 2, 2, and 4 together next. Go hit the 2. Am I playing this right? Yep. And hit that 2, and then you're going to go to your E minor. And I've been trying to make that as clean and pretty as possible. Hit the 0 again, and then I come up. I'm thinking of the C shape on 5 is what I'm thinking about when I come here. I got a 5 and a 6 and a 0 I got to play, and I need this index finger because he's got to get right away. He's got to get onto that 3 or it doesn't sound right. Okay, and you can do this lots of different ways. The smart one is to put your ring finger on the 4. So that leaves your middle finger open to play the 3 on the bottom. Okay, I keep goofing it up and put my middle finger here. Let's make a note. How about that? And then I'll stop messing it up. So play that 4 with your ring finger, and the 3 with your index, the 4 with your ring finger, and then you'll have this 3 open here to play with your middle. And that way, basically, you're just going to put a D chord on here, but instead of on 2, it's up on 3. And that way you end up with your middle finger, you're going to play the 3 and then slide it forward up to the 5. And you can make a nice vibrato with your 5 as the end of first time through. So if we start, let's go back to measure 15 and just play that little section there. Okay. So from 15, I start with 1, 2, 3, 4. Strum 3, 3, 2, chord, O, O, 3, A minor, open, 2, 2, 4, or 2, 4, 2, 2, E minor. Go grab the C shape at 5. Then your index finger hammers down in 3. Ring on 4, middle on 3 again, slide up, give a little vibrato there. It's beautiful, right? Then we go back and play the whole song a second time. Measures 17 and 18 are virtually identical, almost. And so we don't need to play 18. We'll play that as if the second time through, that is our measure 17. And then the other part that's a little hard, and it's hard to get it because you're going to be yanking up all your fingers each time, is to let the last four chords develop properly. So when I get to measure 19, the first chord is A minor with a 3, right? I'm going to let that develop a little bit. Then I got to pull everybody up. I got to get 3, 4, and 5 on. This is the one you don't want to rush, because I've done this over the last week different ways, and this is the one that matters. This is the one that's going to make your ending go well. It's 3, 4, and 0, 5, 5, 0, 4, 3. Let it develop, and then go grab this one, and then grab your G chord to finish up. Okay. So I think 3, 4, 5, 0, 4, 3. That's the weird one. That's the one that doesn't make any sense. I'm not even 100% positive what that is, right? It says it's an E flat. I'm going to believe it. And then go grab my C minor. Peaceful. And then G chord to wrap it up. Okay, so that's how we want that ending to go. And you can either be aggressive and do that ending, or you can be really soft and beautiful and subtle. Kind of depends on the effect you're looking for there. And so that's how I'm approaching the song. Hopefully some of that makes sense to you, and hopefully either I confirmed an idea that you have about how you're doing it, or gave you a new idea to think about. And if we were sitting around in a room, we'd all be talking about it, and you're doing what? I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. Why don't you do it this way? Right? But since we're not in that room, the ideas are going one direction, and hopefully some of them are resonating with you, and hopefully a few of them are like, no, I'm not doing that. He's stupid. Okay. All right. Let's play it. What time is it? 8:44. We're going to play it all the way twice through. Then we'll stop, take a breather, pat ourselves on the back. Then we'll play it twice through, and then we will have it set. Okay, from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the top. Second ending. Ow. How'd you do? Hopefully something's coming along well, right? That's a fun tune. That's a fun tune. It's a lot of because it's all over the place. I keep finding myself, all right, I know how this next thing goes. I think the next thing is this, right? So I'm all engaged in this moment of trying to get it nice and clean and beautiful. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure I know what the next thing is. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing, right? So I'm having sort of a continual battle with myself about, am I remembering correctly? Is the next thing what I think it is? And yeah, it is. And I must have played this now 100 times through and still not quite memorized, right? And you can show it shows, right, that I'm getting to this spot. I'm like, oh yeah, that thing, right? And then I'm a little behind getting on whatever weirdo chord that I get on. And so if this is the piece, if this is the one for you, memorize, right? You'll probably have it half memorized already, knowing, oh, I got that one really complicated shape. Oh, that's this one, right? And do that. Oh, and then there's this dumb thing that I hate, right? So be mindful that, heck, if you've got those tough moments memorized, which you almost have to memorize, might as well just go ahead and take the time to finish up memorizing it, and then you've got yourself a nice repertoire piece forever. Nancy says she's doing better. That's exciting. Nancy, I love that. That makes me happy. Just, right, we're just trying to get a little better. That's really well, man. And let's see, Paley says, managed to play along with you all the way through. Paley, that's no longer a problem, right? I mean, you're absolutely killing it. It's Paley and I have been working together for a long time. And, when she first started in this, she's a great Hawaiian ukulele player. But when she kind of gets into this group setting, it's a new way of playing. And different people take to it in different ways. And, Paley, I think, and I'm so delighted, it used to get a little frustrated when she'd fall behind, but now, it's just from practicing and continuing to work on it and being willing to abandon a bad note when you have to, right? And getting where you can play with somebody else at another person's speed, that's turns you into a musician. That's the difference. Anybody can play these notes, right? Not anybody, but a lot of people could. But being able to play with other people and to play nice with other people, that's hard to do. That's really a top level skill. So that takes a lot of brain power. That's the other thing. Okay. Yeah. You might as well be just ticking off my boxes of smart things to talk about, right? When you are playing this style of guitar, you are fully engaged with the music. It is like the rest of the world disappears. All this weird stuff that's going on is gone for just a while, and we need that, right? We need something to scrub our brain of all this weirdness going on out there. And what we want to do is play chord melody guitar. Who knew that was the solution to fixing your noggin? It's going to take a lot of work. Plus, those of you guys that are let's say of a certain age, like me, the brain research is very clear. Doing this activity lights up the most areas in your brain. You're using your mathematical side, your artistic side, your language side. You're using all of these different sections of your brain, communication and busy. There's electricity shooting back and forth between your two sides. You're fully engaging your brain. And those of you who are of a certain age have been reading about, hey, the best thing you can do for your brain is eat right, exercise, and take up a musical instrument, right? And it's weird that that's on the list, but it is. And it's just this way of getting your brain to really be using itself at its highest capacity. And you can almost feel it when you play something. And especially when you play it well, you get all this endorphin dump. You're like, yeah, I totally got that. And I think there's something to be said for the reverse dump, the embarrassment dump, or the gosh darn it dump that happens when you miss a note or blow a chord or whatever. That's the one that I feel that just this rush of weird stuff in my body going, yeah, you just blew that chord, buddy. So I do think what we're doing here is not just, it's not nothing. It is something where you're really helping yourself become a better thinker and a better, healthier person, but also just giving you a moment to scrub your brain clean of all this craziness. And then when you walk out, you're like, I'm clean. I'm ready. Bring on some more news, and so hopefully you're finding that. I think that's what I'm finding with this. So I only play tough acts just to challenge myself. That's what you should do, right? We're playing melody. That's what matters. We're playing melody. That's what matters. But we play tough acts or tough uke or whatever we want to call it. We play a little bit. Yeah, give yourself a challenge, or maybe that is going to be the way you play down the road. Doesn't matter. Both of those systems are equally valid. Guitarists have a tendency to be a little bit solitary creatures, and I hope that as we get together each week, you get less and less involved in that, because it doesn't work out in the long run. I was a solitary piano player for 10 years, and it just didn't work out, right? I mean, I got pretty good, but it was very lonely, and it's just not the same thing as getting together with a couple of people and playing. If you play melody, they play chords, everybody has a great time. And so and I would like to do a little bit of that this fall if you guys are game for it, is terms of, hey, I'll play the melody, you play the chords, then I'll play the chords, then you play the melody, right? We would have to do it on a little bit easier songs than this, of course, but I think the practice of just seeing how your timing matches up with a playing partner can be quite challenging and quite important. Vic says no news. I'm not turning it on. Lately, we've been calling at 5:30 is when the national news comes on here, and Don and I have been calling it the Murder and Mayhem Report, and we watch it. She gets all devastated by it. I'm like, you have to watch this with the right sense of humor, because every night, breaking, blah, 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 and then whatever crazy thing they want to call breaking news is on. And half the time, why is it breaking? This is the same nonsense that's been going on for years now. Why are we calling it breaking? It's just more ridiculousness. So Elizabeth says, because of what I am doing right now, this is still in pieces for me, but it's only 20 measures. Isn't that interesting? So Elizabeth, I'll tell a story about Elizabeth. Elizabeth has undertaken for the second year in a row to write 50 songs in the summer. And I've done it. I did it 4 summers in a row. And honestly, it's what turned me into a complete believer in music and in composition and all of this stuff. But it's also extremely draining, and it's extremely emotional. And by the end of the summer, you're positive you're the only crazy person in the world. And so she's been working on that a lot. And so when you are putting that kind of energy into creating new music, it's hard, obviously, to come and spend time on something that's like this. And I think as a trained musician, she would be thinking, it's only 20 measures. That's no big deal. But it is a big deal, because every measure in this thing gives you some sort of new challenge. And so I think this notion that a song has to be long to be complex isn't true. And I think you really see that in classical music, where most of the songs are a minute and a half long. They're really not very long songs, but boy, do they challenge you. And so that's another nice thing about this instrument, is you can have 2 pages and you can have 6 months worth of work on it, So, all right, this is our grand finale. You ready? Shake it off. Let's do it. Okay, finish up twice through, and then we're done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nah, probably the time before was a little better. Right? Should probably cut your losses once you play it through well once. Practicing, guys. Start with an etude. Start with something that's a little more technical, and then Debbie Christie's arpeggio book. If you've got it, play through some of that stuff. Just for warm up type stuff, get your fingers going. Then play through your hard stuff. Right? Maybe this song, maybe something else that's on the highest level you're working at, and then always make sure to finish up whatever you're doing with a fun one. Right? So you want to end your music with a positive result. So if this is, oh, this is just killing me, right? Go with, I've been working on the railroad all the live long day, right? Or whatever. I don't even know how it goes, but it's perfectly fine to end with something way below your ability that's just fun, right? So you want to end your rehearsals all the time with something kind of just enjoyable, because your brain needs to know, hey, guitar is fun. It's not just a crossword puzzle you're doing, but it's actually supposed to be musical and fun. And so at the end of your practice sessions, make sure to have a couple of pieces in the back of your book, or maybe in the front of your book that's like, hey, I just enjoy playing these. And so put those in there. All right. Hopefully, for those of you guys who are just Thursday nighters, hopefully you had a good opportunity to really turn this into something and maybe stick with it for a while. Or maybe you have figured out that this is not the song for you and it's time to move on. Like I said, I've got several things that I've been fiddling around with, and I'm not sure which one I want to get out to you for Monday. So, but obviously, check email, check the website, and we'll get you the next level 4 song. And know that next Thursday for sure we don't have a meeting. And then I've got to check with the city of Lakewood in terms of what my schedule is going to look like for the fall before we make a commitment to this particular time slot. And if you have any thoughts on time slots in terms of, I know every day you're at 3 o'clock or 2:30 or whatever you're doing in the daytime guitar class, but I have a job. I can't come to that. And if you do want to come to some live classes, let me know what nights or times are the best for you, if it matters. I may or may not be able to cater to you, but I definitely want to be, trying to make it easy for you to get whatever guitar time in that makes sense for you, whatever time. And it doesn't have to be guitar. It could be whatever instrument you're working on. And so let's just make sure that you are always happy. And let's get rid of this guy here. And what we want to do is just continue to build capacity and find a way that makes making music makes sense for you. And really, the other thing we're trying to do is have you not quit, right? And I work with a lot of guitarists, and some of you guys are that guitarist who started really strong 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and then life got in the way, and then guitar had to wait. So let's not have it wait anymore. Let's just keep at it. So, all right. Vic, thank you. I can't remember who everybody logged in tonight. Elizabeth and Vic and Bill and Pele, and I think Nancy was in here. Thank you guys all for being here, and hopefully, again, be in communication with me about what you need as a guitarist, and I want to keep it going. So, and stay well. I'm not going to Lakewood yet, right? I'm hoping that by some miracle, those classes don't make. That's what I'm actually hoping for, which is terrible to hope for. But those people can come and right here and hang out with us. So I will see all of you down the road. Please be careful. It is crazy out there, and we want to stay inside and be healthy. And if you go out, obviously wear a damn mask. Why is this an issue? You put on pants, right? Put on something over your ugly face, and it might improve your appearance and make you need to wear less whatever we have to put on to make yourself beautiful. So you guys are all beautiful, right? Using a mask covers up that beauty, and I get it, right? So no, do it. All right, have a great week, you guys, and I will see all of you somewhere down the road. Okay, be good. I'll talk to you soon.